In this final set of descriptions or exercises, I'm going to show you the application of WeldGun functions or operations that can be performed within the robot program. So to remind ourselves, let's take a look at the weld gun that we're using. This is rocker 2 number 2, and as in the ped welder exercises we did right at the beginning, you'll see that it has some predefined positions, home 1, 2 and 3, that have different openings of the weld gun. And we want to use these so that we avoid the risk of accidentally colliding with the work as we move into and out from it. So here's our robot task 2, and you'll notice that there are some additional objects within here. There's an operation 13 that I've already inserted. That happens just after the approach point has been reached. And what we want to do is we want to open the gun at this point, make sure the gun is wide open at that point, so that as it approaches the work it's not going to collide. And then when we come to actually do the weld itself, we'll add another operation which will perform the welding, which will close the gun and allow us to hold it in a position for a period of time. So we have various activities that can be applied here, opening and retracting guns and welding. So here's our retract gun location at the approach point, and we'll open the jaws, the anvils of the gun at that point. We can now go in and insert a welding operation. This can only be done at one of the weld points, the fastener points. It cannot be applied, for example, at a via point, because via points are not where operations take place per se, at least not welding operations. So here's our weld gun, and we've got home position 2, and that's just going to close the gun a little bit, and then the final step will be to actually hold the gun in a position. In doing all of this, of course, what we're doing is we're adding elements of time to the movement that has already been programmed, and this will allow us to get an overall time for this particular set of operations. These times can then be applied, for example, in a discrete event simulation model, where we are looking at the flow of parts over periods of weeks or even months of operation, along with, for example, equipment failures, repairs and tooling replacements. So we've added in our weld operation, or we're going to add in our weld operation I think in a second. Let's just review what we've done. We've got this retract operation, and we've got a weld operation, and there we've got the welding itself there. Operations.16 is the welding itself. Okay, so that pretty much has now finished our welding activity. The next step would, well, there's a few more steps, but the next step is essentially converting that into a program and downloading it onto the real system once it's installed and commissioned.